This is to win the Masters,
Right, of course.
and you would miss it 8 times out of 10, then
Yeah.
you go again. But it was a dream come true, and I got there, and it was exactly like I envisioned the whole thing.
Let's maintain that turf today. Get up and brush off the dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Cut it and roll that dew on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Set up, they about to come through on that turf today. Turf today. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Get up. Turf today. Let's get out the way. Here comes first play. Let's maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Turf Today. My name is Adam Kershane, joined as always by Brian Laurent. And this week we are heading across the pond to Paris, France, where we're chatting with Simon Wattier, an amazing young man from France who has worked in numerous countries at many different types of golf courses and some very, very well-known venues. So buckle up. This is a great interview. Simon's got some great stories. Or is it Simon? I never asked him. He is in France. I guess he goes by Simon or Simon. Either way, we love you, buddy. This was a great interview. Hope you guys all love it. Turf Today is recorded on the Superintendent Network, and it's brought to you by Toro. Out here on the course, we know a good partner when we see one. Toro's been helping superintendents keep the fairways smooth, greens rolling true, and roughs looking sharp for a century. From sunrise mows to last light touch-ups, Toro's got the horsepower, precision, and reliability to keep your course playing its best. Toro, always solving, always evolving. Simon, how's it going, brother?
What's up, Adam? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sounds really good.
Awesome, man.
Are you excited to jump on today?
I am a little nervous, but that's normal, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we've done over 100 of these, and I still get nervous every day we
Yeah,
jump on a recording. But no, I think it's a good
I
thing,
did
right?
a I did a few of them in French, but it's actually my first real one in English. So
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you
we'll see
go.
how that goes.
My buddies were giving it to me. They're like, you should ask him some questions in French. And I said, well, it'd be fun because I speak a little bit of French being here in Canada, but I don't think our listeners would be able to hang on to it. So we'll have to keep
Yeah,
it
I
in
don't think they'll
English.
be very interested into
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I got to apologize. Brian was supposed to be with us. He was making his way back from Bandon Dunes today, and it sounds like he's having a little bit of flight change on him there. So I think he's on an airplane right now. He's going to try and
Okay,
join us when he gets off, but we might miss him. So I definitely
that's fine.
apologize
Well,
for
that'll
that.
that'll
But
be cool if you can join.
yeah, no, definitely. I hope it works out. He's been
What was
traveling
he
a
doing in
lot.
Bend and playing golf?
No, he was up there for the it was the women's am this weekend, so he was up there doing some
That's right.
coverage
That's
and
right.
meeting those guys and stuff. So he's been all over the states and stuff lately. So he's been really busy.
That's good.
So what's going on with you? Where are you joining us from today?
Paris, Paris, France. Yeah, I'm at
Paris.
my grandma's right now.
Okay, right on, right on. Definitely our first guest from France, if I'm not mistaken,
That's
which is
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Born and raised in Paris. Yeah, spent 10 years in Paris growing up, and then moved to the French Alps for a while before finishing high school and starting my career. So
Okay. So were you into golf right away? Like what's the golf scene like over there in France?
the golf scene is very different. I was into golf. Started when I was 3 years old, 3 to 4 years old, with like plastic clubs. Because
Oh
my
yeah.
dad played golf in college in the States. Went to Reno, Nevada. Anyways, huge golf family. Three older brothers. They all play golf. I'm the last one. And that's basically what got me into the industry. And the golf scene here is, I mean, there's 600 courses. It's very accessible, even though people don't think it is. There's still those cliches of it's just sports for rich people. And, like if you play golf, you must be rich. I did not grew up rich at all, and I play golf my whole life. So that shows you that golf is very affordable and accessible here, but we're still so far behind on a lot of stuff. And it's slowly changing. The French Golf Federation is doing a very good job at growing the game here. And I think the Ryder Cup we had in 2018 really helped. So it's trending the right way for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're younger of all your brothers and stuff. Does that mean you pick up the game pretty quickly just following those guys?
Yeah, I mean everything was a competition growing up,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And I was always trying to beat them in everything we're doing, and it took me a while, but I finally got there. And I mean, once you're the last of four boys, four brothers, you always try to replicate what your other brothers are doing. So that got me good, not good enough to become a pro, but good enough to have it around for their money, that's for sure.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, the sibling rivalry is always a good one, always
Hmm.
challenging you and teaching you new things. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So take some time here and just kind of open up your career, getting into turf. Obviously, you're a golfer, but just kind of getting into the
Hmm.
industry and take us along kind of your career path.
Sure. Well, I'm just gonna start from the beginning.
Hmm.
Like I said, grew up in a golf family, so golf was around my entire life. As I said, my dad was playing golf very seriously before he completely changed career in his life. And I was playing golf from forward to this day. And in high school, I remember I was maybe 16, 17 years old. And I was like, okay, well, what should I do with my life? Because I'm gonna graduate in a year or so. What should I do? Do I want to become a pro? Do I want to take this risk? And I quickly realized that I was not good enough, or I didn't have what it takes to become a pro. And luckily at this time, my other brother Nathan was already in the turf industry. He worked in Europe a lot, and then went to Penn State, did the 2 year program. He's 5 years older than I am. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna follow him and kind of like give it a try because I love golf. I want to be on the golf course. I don't care what I do. I want to be on the golf course. So I got my first job in Switzerland, in the golf course called Domaine Impérial, so close to Geneva. And that was my very first internship straight out of high school. That was right at the start of COVID. So tough time to start your career in, right?
No
When I
kidding.
was working out there, there's no golfers. It's such a weird time, and I spent 10 months there, and that's really where I learned all the basics of the industry. Just how to mow a green, the triplex or a hand mower, how to mow fairways, mow rough, rake bunkers. It was a good time. That's where I did all my mistakes. We all did stupid mistakes growing up. But I was lucky enough to work for a guy, Joe Buckley, an English guy that was super patient with me and taught me all the basics. And I guess he saw something in me, I guess, at this time, and he trusted me to send me to their manor in Ireland where they have the Ryder Cup in 27. So he sent me there, and that's really where I fell in love with the game of golf and the turf industry. So I spent 6 months there, 7 months actually, under Alan McDonald, the director of grounds there. Huge experience, unreal experience. Met some amazing guys, and that's really where I took my work game to another level. The expectations over there are very high, and I mean they call it the Augusta National of Ireland for a reason because I mean everything is just manicured to a point where it gets very close to the top and the best of the best. So that's why. Well, also I learned English. I mean, the only reason why I wanted to go there was because I already wanted to go to Penn State at that time. I mean, you got to think, I'm 18 years old. I want to go study overseas. I'm decent in English, but I got to be good if I want to, want to understand something that's going on over there. So that's really where I learned and gained confidence in English. And that's pretty funny coming from Ireland. You learn from Irish people. It's kind of like it doesn't
Yeah,
go
that's
together, right?
hilarious.
I even picked up like a very tiny Irish accent at some point. That was pretty funny. Anyway, so I spent 7 months there. That was in 2021, and then I decided to escape the winters in Ireland. Because I was like, I'm not working there. It's gonna rain every single day. It's gonna be cold, and so I went down to Portugal. Um, they were doing golf course construction down at Costa Terra. So it's a Tom Fazio design. They were not even open yet. I went down to work for one of my mentors now, Raul Lurk. awesome guy. I also went to Penn State. I learned a lot over there. I mean, how to build bunkers, build new greens, build everything, from scratch. And it was also on warm Susan grass, which was I've never seen that before. And we were working on zoysia grass fairways and bent grass greens. And then after that, spent 5 to 6 months there. Went back to Adair Manor for my very last internship before flying off to Penn State. Went into all the paperwork, my visa stuff, my F1 visa to go study abroad. And then I took off to the States, where I went to Penn State and did a 2-year program under John Kaminsky and all the professors there. And I think that was probably the best, um, I don't know, probably the best move I'd say I did in my career was to go there because it opened up so many doors to me in the future and going forward. And so got there to Penn State. I mean, barely went to the States before that, just for a week for vacation. I went there, I got to think like our European mind is not always ready for how huge the country is and how big everything is. Obviously went to my first football games and it was like, oh wow, like, Penn State is a pretty good school to go to if you want to watch football. So that was fun and met some amazing guys over there, made some great friends and connections. After my first year at Penn State, they have a 6-month internship between your 2 years. So luckily, I met Dan Mearsman, which is the director of grounds at Philly Cricket, just north of Philly, and he gave to give a speech at the Turf Club, which is like every week we have a Turf Club over there. And I just heard the guy and I was like, yeah, I want to work for you. I want to do my internship for you because he's young, he has a good mindset. I was like, yeah, I just want this guy in my network, because he just sounded amazing. Went there, and once again, I think that was another great decision. I met the right person at the right time and spent my 6-month internship there. I was basically an intern, but they were treating me like an AIT, more or less. So I learned a shit ton over there, and that was great. And so my internship came to an end. I was just had a blast over there. I got to play golf like every week if I wanted to. And I remember my last week, I go to him, I'm like, hey Dan, like, you have a minute for me? And he goes, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm leaving in a week. I'm going back to college, and I'm already thinking about what's going to be next for me after graduation in 6 months. Like, do you have any recommendation or where should I go? And he looks at me for a few seconds and he goes like, you want to go to Augusta National?
Oh, wow.
Like that. And I'm like,
Can't say no to that.
fuck yeah, I do. And he goes, okay, well, give me a sec. Pulls up his phone and he calls Brent Sawyer from Augusta, which is a good buddy of his. I did not know that they were buddies. Calls him and goes like, hey Brent, I have a great intern here and he doesn't know what to do next year. I think you should take him. He wants to go work for you. 5 days later, I got the job.
Oh my gosh. The
So
connections, right?
the connections are so powerful in this industry, and I got lucky, but it's not only luck. You also got to work hard to get that. That meant he trusted me also because I was basically an intern coming from Philly cricket. If I'm bad, his reputation is going to go down. So that was also a fruit of my hard work those 6 months. So
Right.
super lucky, I guess, met the right guy at the right time, and he sent me to Augusta after graduation, where I spent a full year there as an intern, and I got to see, I mean, as a golfer, this is everybody's dream, right? And being able to see what's behind the scenes was unreal. I'm not allowed to share everything, obviously. Um, but yeah, it was just unreal. And to this day, I mean, it was probably the best experience I had on the golf course was to be out there, see those places, walk those greens that I never thought for a second I would be able to walk. And that was pretty cool. I did a lot of things in between while at Penn State. I went to Las Vegas to work for one of my classmates' dad at Valley High Golf Club under Michael Donahue, who is one of my mentors right now. It was cool to see a different part of the country going out west, and I learned a lot from him. He's working on Bermuda fairways and bent grass greens, and he taught me how to paint fairways because they don't ever see it anymore over there because water shortage. And also did an internship with McDonald and Sons at Pine Valley for 2 months. So we rebuilt 16 greens, 16 approach, and 17 tee. I mean, number one in the country was such an honor to walk those grounds and reshape what George Crump and Coles and all those architects at the time first did.
It's so cool.
So anyway, that's a bit of my backstory. I'm now back in France. My student visa ended in March, and so I'm working for my brother for his company. We're doing dry jig here in France, and we also are doing some consulting and hydraulic, which is some drainage system. So super happy, and I'm now applying for a new visa to go back to the States and back to Philly Cricket to work under Dan Mearsman. That started basically everything for me. So waiting on the visa, and hoping it's gonna go my way.
And how old are you right now?
I'm just turned 24.
Wow, dude. Still got a lot of runway in this industry. That's so cool. You have so much
Hmm.
experience already. Well, a lot to get into here. I guess I'd like to go back to you getting a couple internships before even going to school. Like, how do you pull that off and getting an internship at a place like Adair Manor, not speaking very
Hmm.
good English?
You have a lot of high school kids that come to the golf course for a summer and give it a try. You
Hmm.
don't especially need a degree to be a random crew guy, right? And once again, I'm just so grateful because I met the right persons at the right time,
Hmm.
and that guy Joe Buckley at in Switzerland knew the guy at their manor and they work under the same consultants, so this door opened, then that door opened, so I want to say if you really want something, if you really work hard, I mean you can basically do everything, and that's not only in turf, that's everywhere. And luckily our industry is kind of in a shortage right now of assistants and young people. So I saw this opportunity and I went, yeah, I mean, fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. And the English part, I'm just gonna figure it out,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll figure it out.
And yeah, I mean, there's no better way to learn than, out there on the field.
Yeah, yeah, and that's great. It's not like you're waiting to go to school so you can get an opportunity like that. It's something's presented to
Hmm.
you. I have a chance here to do this. Why not?
Yeah.
So no, that's
And,
really
and and
good.
also just to add on that, Penn State requires at least 6 months of experience before even being able to apply to join the program.
Okay,
So it's
there you go.
also, I'd say that was the main reason, really.
Yeah, just trying to get some.
But also I wanted to pay for school for myself. Didn't really get enough money, so I took a loan. But I wanted to have some money on the side to be able to go to Penn State. So that's also why I worked before starting school.
Nice. You got a good head on your shoulders. That's a good way of doing it.
Hopefully, I'll keep it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, your brothers will keep you in check, I'm sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what was the biggest difference then? You go from like Switzerland, which I've heard from some of my buddies that played hockey over there that it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, to then going down south, or sorry, going, to Ireland down south and then
Hmm.
across the States. What did you find the biggest difference was?
That's the tricky one. I mean, the biggest difference was obviously the people and the language.
Hmm.
You start from somewhere where you speak French, then go speak English, and then join a crew of just local guys that all speak Portuguese and don't even speak English. So it was really everything was different everywhere, and it really tested my abilities to adapt to every situations. And my mindset from day one was to work as at many places as I could, and then kind of like pick or cherry pick the best of every places to make my own DNA and my own way of how I see turf in general. So a lot of differences, also a lot of similarities into, those private country club vibes. I never worked at a muni before, and I guess I'm lucky for that. Personally, I don't want to because, I'm aiming fairly high. But at the end of the day, we're all working on the golf course, and the goal is the same, is to get the best playing surfaces that we could with what we have,
Hmm.
you know.
And that's just a great example of somebody who, if you want to work in a different country or you want to work in a different climate or something like that, you certainly can because turf is
Hmm.
turf, right? It's just about trying
Hmm.
to get along with the
Hmm.
people. And if you have a good attitude
Hmm.
and stuff, you'd be perfectly fine.
And it's also easier to travel in Europe. You know, I
True.
know traveling to the American mine, um, or North American mine can be very scary because when you think of another country, either you go to Canada, which is not too far, sometimes people go down south, but everything is just so far, you know.
Hmm.
So here you can drive 6 hours and be in a different country, and you drive three more in another one, you know. So it's not as hard because I mean the time zone is fairly the same, and you can get home in less than a 2 hour flight. So the
But you
language is different, but it's not like you're on the other side of the planet, you know. So I'd say that was easier for me. But going overseas was definitely tough at first, and then you slowly get used to it, you know.
Yeah. So any good memories or stories of mishaps because of language, because of translating or something like that?
Oh man, that's a good one. I mean not mishaps, you know, but sometimes, especially when you work 70, 80, 90 hours a week, you know, you get a little tired, and when English is not your first language, man, sometimes, especially at 4 in the morning, you struggle,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and you don't want to talk to me if I didn't have my morning coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but people used to make fun of me, you know, because I'm French, and especially in the States. But it was all you know, all jokes, and but no mishaps. I don't think I ever made a huge mistake because of the language. I almost did because of the conversions between liters and gallons. That's one
Oh
thing.
yeah, that'll get you. That'll get you.
Um, but luckily, you know, I worked at those courses where everything is double checked, and that also helps with not making many mistakes. Um, so no, but it was good. I always felt very, very welcome everywhere I worked at. And I'm so grateful for all the guys I met because they really took me under their wing and basically made me feel welcome and like I belonged there. And that was pretty cool from them because
That's
I kind
awesome.
of overheard sometimes, you know, not everybody likes French people. So
Oh, that's great. It's
it
good
was
to
good. It
hear.
was good.
Yeah, turf community takes care of its own, so that's really nice to
Hmm.
hear. So we will dig into Augusta a little bit here because when we get people on the show who have experience, we like to talk about it. We are fully aware that you can't get into the nuts
Hmm.
and bolts of it all. But my first question would be, what was your perception of Augusta? I know you're a golfer growing up. You've probably watched the
Hmm.
Masters and stuff, but what was your perception of it? And then actually showing up there, what was that like?
Man, I mean, I think the perception I had was, you know, I would get there and I was thinking I would cry the very first day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, playing golf, I think we all, you know, as a kid, I'm pretty sure 90% of us had a putt on the clubhouse putting green and was like, yeah, this is doing the Masters, you know.
Right. Of course.
And you would miss it 8 times out of 10, but
Yeah.
you go again. But, you know, it was a dream come true. And I got there and it was exactly like I envisioned the whole thing. And the layout of the course was kind of shocked me. And I was shocked on how big the place was. But it was exactly like I saw the thing in my head. And I remember my very, very first day, even before orientation, I went down there to help the guys rake the bunkers, and it was still in the dark. And I just walked on the first fairway, and I was like, dang, I've seen some great things before, but this is honestly to another level. And a year after, you know, you work a lot of hours, obviously there, and you just never get sick of it, of those grounds, and you just think of all the history and who walked on those grounds before you, and I mean, it's the greatest tournament on the planet, you know, and being able to be there and to work on this golf course for a living and to make money out of it, it was such an amazing experience for me. I mean, how many people would pay thousands and tens of thousands of dollars just to see the place? I get paid to be there,
It's pretty
you know,
crazy.
and I cannot thank enough the whole I mean, Brad Owens at the time and Brent Stewart and all the guys that really took care of me and gave me my chance. And I think if I could go back, I would definitely go back. Now, do I want to live in Georgia? That's a different question, but
Yeah.
it was awesome.
So what was tournament time like? What did they have you doing?
I was mowing greens during tournament,
Nice.
and
Nice.
then I'm just on palm banks maintenance. Um, so you know, at that time I was in industry for 4 years. I don't know how many greens I mowed in my life compared to other guys. Not many, but I mean it was every single morning. I would mow greens, hand mow greens. And I remember actually when I first started, I kept sending you or you guys on Instagram videos of every line I was doing, like every straight line, because that made me so happy. And anyway, even if you do something every single day, when it's during Masters time, it's a different kind of pressure, you know, and you gotta embrace it. And it was just unreal to think, okay, well, this is happening. I mean, round one of the Masters is going to be played on this screen that I'm mowing right now, so better not
So
fuck up,
crazy.
right?
So crazy.
And but once again, everything, they know what they're doing over there.
Mhm.
Um, they do everything right, I want to say, and they make sure there is no mistake or no bad thing is going to happen. Everything is double, triple, quadruple checked, and you always have someone next to you to make sure everything is okay. So that was such a great time. That was 2024 when Scheffler won.
Oh, cool. Really cool. And that's
Hmm.
something nobody can ever take away from you. Like that is such a
Nope.
cool little badge of honor to have.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you had a little story too. I don't know if it ended up on TV, but you ended up in front of the crowd or in front of the patrons, I should say.
Yeah, it did not end up on TV. I was kind of hoping for it, because nobody has a phone over there
True,
during
true.
tournament time. Um, so I was hoping it was on live broadcast, but it was not. So that's pretty cool actually. On the Sunday of the Masters, so Sunday afternoon, during every big tournament, not only the Masters, but all the big tournaments, they put guys on every hole just to make sure there's no debris on the green or sand splash or anything like that. I was sitting on 16 with some other greenkeepers, and anyway, Ludwig Aberg comes up to 16, so he was in the second to last group and hits his ball in the back left bunker over there. So it was the Sunday pin. I mean, chips out, makes par, leaves sand splash on the green. Scotty Scheffler is putting for birdie, I believe, or makes par on 15, and it walks to 16T. As he walks to 16T, my buddy next to me goes like, "Well, there's sand splash on the green. You gotta go clean it. It's Sunday at the Masters. I don't know how many millions of people are watching, and you're gonna go and do it." Me? He knew
Are you sure?
he's been there for 20 years. He knew it was my first and probably last time working the Masters. He was like, "Go do it, man." So I took my dew whip out and I just hop over the rope. And once you hop over the rope, you just feel thousand and thousand of eyes watching you. And it's just a dew whip, it is just the most basic thing you can do. But I was shaking.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Anyway, I go out there, I do it, and people start clapping. One guy, two guys, 10 guys, 100 guys. It was probably, I don't know, 4,000 to 5,000 people just in this amphitheater over there. And I started dripping the sand. People are cheering. And I had some buddies on sitting on 18. They thought someone made a hole in one
Oh wow.
because of all this noise. And then they just heard that it was me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started dripping the green, and I got done. And then my buddy comes up to me and he goes like from a distance, "Tip your hat off." So I kind of think for a second, and then I tip my hat off, and
Yeah.
they go even more crazy.
Oh
And I
no
was,
way.
once again, I grew up as a kid playing golf, and my dream was to win the Masters. And you know, during high school, when I decided to take a different path in my career and kind of like forget about golf, I kind of felt sad, and I felt like all those dreams I had growing up, went away. And never for a second I would have thought that one day in my life I would have a standing ovation on 16 at Augusta on a
Augusta.
Sunday. It was not for playing golf, but it was pretty
No,
cool still.
that's a
And that
small
was
list of
awesome,
people.
man. And I'll never forget that story for sure, man. It was unreal.
Man, that is so cool. I kind of wish that would have been on TV. That would have been a great clip.
Absolutely.
So did you guys get to play the course? I hear that everybody that works there gets to play the course, and you were there for a while, so I'm assuming you got out
Well,
there.
it's known now that every employee gets to play the course once a year when we close. So that's obviously unreal. I got to play also. You're able to invite a family member.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I got to play with my dad. That started the whole thing in our family.
Yeah.
And poor guy didn't have a single birdie in 45 holes because we played many times.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's a scratch golfer, super good golfer. But he told me like, I don't care. I'm just having the run of my life, the day of my life, because it was his dream, and being able to make it happen was super special. And I think I was more happy for him to play the course than for myself to even play. And we had a great time for sure. And man, it's tough out there.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It's
That
tough
must have
out
been
there.
that must have been a cool phone call. Oh, hey Dad, you want to come play
Hmm.
Augusta?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And he took the plane from Paris just to play Augusta and then went back.
Straight there. Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
that's cool.
that was wonderful, and I wish I could go back just for that because that's definitely. I don't want to say it's why people go work over there, but it's definitely a big part, and it's not only the turf crew, it's everybody because everybody is part of the whole Masters experience, and without those few hundreds of employees, I mean, nothing is going to happen, and lucky enough, members are allow us to do so when we close, and it's a pretty cool experience, and yeah, definitely miss it for sure.
Yeah. So the year before you got to work was it your first tournament when you worked the players?
I worked the Players Championship the year before, so part of the Penn State program, after your first year and before your summer internship, they will send you to a tournament. It was before that it was the Tour Championship at East Lake, and now it's the Players Championship. So just before your internship. So me and my whole class, we went down there and worked for the whole week. So I got to hand water fairways and tees. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
And also I was blowing bunkers in the morning. But also seeing a different tournament take place and how they do things compared to how Augusta do things or compared to a different course. It was super interesting. It was 200 of us total
Wow.
working on the golf course on 18 holes.
200.
200 like full-time crew and also volunteers. A lot of students, obviously, but that was a great time, and it was the year also Scotty Scheffler won. I
There you
guess I'm
go.
his lucky charm. Whatever I work a
Yeah.
tournament, he wins. So.
He should be
Yeah, it
paying you
was
to
it was a
follow him
great
around.
time, and it was my first time in Florida too.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was interesting to see, and I mean they oversee paragraphs overseed over there, and it's pretty similar to what Augusta does as well. So it was good to see for
Yeah.
sure.
So now you talked about you're working with your brother, who we've talked
Hmm.
to online, and I actually thought about maybe bringing you guys both on, but you both have
Hmm.
so much to talk about. You both have such cool careers that I think
Hmm.
getting to talk to you first would be great, and then eventually at some point we got to bring Nathan on to
Hmm.
chat with him. But
Hmm.
talk a little bit about him and your guys' relationship, and now what you're kind of doing together.
Hmm. Well, Nathan is the one that started it all in the turf in the family, and I'm so grateful for him and for what he did before me. He was the first French guy ever to go to Penn State into the turf program. So he was very like a scary for him at first. He had no idea what he was getting himself into. Um, anyway, he went to Penn State. He interned at Glen Arbor in New York under Ken Benoit, which is a huge name in the industry. And then after graduation, went to Congressional as an assistant for a year. So you got to know that after graduation as a F1 student, you have 1 year to work, and then your visa stops. So he spent that year at Congressional, then went back to Europe, met his wife, and was a superintendent in Germany. Um, and now he decided, to build his own company because he saw the needs of dry in France, Switzerland, and Belgium because there was nobody doing that. So he started that 5 years ago and is starting to work really well. He does other things on the side like consulting, and we also sell cores and like fungicides and stuff like that. And when he heard I was probably going to come back home, gives me a call and goes like, "Hey, like, you want to come work?" He doesn't like when I say for me. He says with me, even though I feel like I work for him. I don't care, but he's like, "No, you're going to work with me." So that tells you how good of a relationship we have together.
Definitely.
And I said, "Yeah, I'll work for you while I wait on my visa." And now we just driving around France with our huge trailer and two dry machines in the back, and just trying to make it a living. And it's tough. It's tough because courses don't have much budget here, so it's tough to make it work. But we're slowly getting there. And he's definitely more of a businessman than I am, and he deals with all that paperwork better than I
Yeah.
do. So yeah, we're doing dry eject and some other stuff. Is going well, and yeah, I mean, hopefully, if my visa doesn't work out, I'm gonna keep working with him. And the goal in the future is maybe I don't know, maybe build a turf school in France.
That'd be
Or
cool.
trying to expand the industry over here because it's really needed. And yeah, it's better over there in England and the States, but here in continental Europe, it's slowly getting there, but it needs a lot of people and more recognition for sure. Um, do I want to leave because of that? Yes and no. I'm very young and I want to still have my career in the States, but eventually I'd like to come back here and work with him and maybe do something great for the French industry for sure.
Yeah, that'd be unbelievable. Do you guys have an association over there, or are you just kind of part of that big umbrella?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have a French association. It's called Agref, where they are pushing things the right way for sure. So that's pretty cool, and we also work very closely with the golf directors. So that's also great. But once again, it's to me, it's just a problem of mostly budget. Every course they don't really have a big budget. They can only have two to three, maybe four guys if they're lucky. You cannot really do much with that, and you have no budget. You have no manpower. You can only do so much. It's basically mowing, 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 and okay, the only thing you can do is roll to avoid dollar spot, and and that's it really. So there's a big need, and I think the heart of the problem is just golf in general, and people needs to understand that everybody can play it, and just need more money in the industry as a whole, you know.
100%. 100%. And anything you guys can do, I'm sure is going to help over there. And even just coming
Hmm.
over to the US and working and
Hmm.
being able to tell your story, there's got to be a lot of
Yeah,
younger guys over in France that are going to be able
and
to
and
follow
it
that path.
worked. I mean, I have my best friend. He also went to Penn State the year after me. All again, thanks to Nathan because he did it before us. And he interned at Oakmont Country Club. Went back there after graduation as an AIT. I mean, he's also having a super, super successful career. And, we're just hoping the three of us can influence other French guys. Not to go to Penn State, especially, even though I think it's the best program in the world, but just to go overseas and learn from the best, because I mean, you gotta say it, turf grass in the States is the best. To me, it's the best, and then hopefully bring that knowledge back home, and kind of like teach people here that cannot afford going overseas, what you learn over there and try to bring it back and change minds a little bit. And I think that would be a great thing. And I know a lot of French guys I know went to the States under Mike O'Keefe and his J1 program. And I mean, I know some guys went to Murfield Village, I mean, Quiet Hollow and some other places. So, and then they came back to France and now they're already superintendents. They're like my
Nice.
age, so that shows you that if you just intern at those places and you come back here, you can be a super because that's how short on staff we are.
So did you think about doing that? Was there any opportunities for you?
I still think about doing it in case my visa doesn't work out. Um, but right now I should get an answer within the next 3 months. I don't want to apply for a job, and if I get my visa, then just burn the bridge
Right.
and say, well, I'm gone. I mean, everybody is going to be losing in this situation. So this is why I'm working for my brother because he's aware of my situation. If the visa is a no, then I'll consider taking over a golf course if I can, because I'm still super young and frankly, I don't feel ready to be a superintendent. But if I need to, I would gladly do it. And I have a lot of help around me that can help me with things I have to deal with. So yeah, if the visa doesn't work out, I'll gladly take a job here in France or in Europe and try to make my way up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure everybody always says they're not ready or they don't think they're ready, but you'd figure it out. Like
Hmm.
you seem pretty smart and
Hmm.
resourceful. I'm sure you'd figure it out. So would end goal then be to come back to the States and become a superintendent at a golf course here?
The end goal, yeah, is to become a director of grounds,
Okay.
somewhere in the States. Um, well, I would start my career as an assistant if I get the visa once again at Philly Cricket. And the goal is to, work there for a few years and see if any doors open over there. And if so, I'm just gonna stay there and, keep working my way up. I love this place. It's such a family to me and super healthy place to work at. Or maybe go somewhere else if things don't work my way. And, I think it's all about who you know really at the end. And yeah, that'll be the end goal. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I won't like it in the States or I come back in France or in Europe. But right now, yeah, the end goal is to become a super or director of grounds at hopefully a private country club somewhere in the States.
Oh, awesome. Well, like I said, you're still so young, dude. So you have a lot of runway and you keep working your
Hmm.
network and all these connections and stuff. No doubt in my mind, you'll get there. So
Hmm.
that's awesome. There was a huge flash of lightning that just went through, which means it's now time for the lightning round presented by Flash Weather AI. Your heads up before the skies light up and download their new app today. Well, we'll start with an easy one that we ask everybody. Favorite piece of equipment on the golf course?
Man, I'm gonna go crazy with that one. A rake,
Yeah, just a
just
hand
a
rake?
rake, just a hand rake. No matter
Yeah.
what hand rake, I think you can do so much with just a rake.
Okay. Fair enough. Worst comment you've ever had from a golfer
While working or while playing golf? Because I have
while
a pretty good
working?
one while playing golf.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
whatever the best one is you had from a golfer.
I remember that guy. I was playing golf. It was actually pretty recently, and I hit my 8 iron on a par three, and I just hit a divot, right? And I'll just leave a divot on the tee, and I just clean my club, put it back in the bag, walk away. This dude comes up to me and goes like, "Not gonna replace your divot like this." And so I had to kindly teach him that we don't do that on the tee. We do not replace a divot on the tee. There was no seed next to the tee, so and he kind of got like oh mad at me because he was. Then I told him what I was doing for a living, and that I work here and there, and I kind of know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
and he was like, "No, no, no, you should put it back." And then went back to the club president and told him that I did that, and he got in trouble.
Oh, nice.
But that's the only one I can remember. I mean, for
Yeah,
now,
that's good. You're around a lot of friendly golfers. That's a good thing.
that was France, man.
Yeah. So for you, what's more satisfying, a perfect stripe on a green or a perfect divot repair?
A perfect stripe on the green.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
No debate. No debate
Yeah,
there.
you like your stripes. What's a scarier sound on the golf course? A clap of thunder or the GM's cart pulling up?
Probably a cup of thunder. You
Yeah.
know, if you have nothing to be worried about, if the gym pulls up, probably a cup of thunder.
Yeah,
Especially
fair
on a
enough.
golf course, that might be the most dangerous place to be when it's storming out there. So definitely that.
So when it comes to driving around the golf course, what's your guilty pleasure? What do you like taking out of the shop?
I don't know. It's probably driving those car paths like you're in an F1 race.
Yeah.
And trying to take the quickest, the fastest lines around the corners, even though those cars they don't go fast, but that's my guilty pleasure, and I don't know, it just makes the day goes by faster, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, we get to drive all over the golf course. It's so much fun. I love
Yeah.
hiring kids that have never driven before, and you're like, all right, just get in the cart there. Yeah, let's go.
And they look at you, they're like, "What, me?"
I can drive this anywhere. Yep, let's go. Just don't put it in a bunker or pond.
Until they start driving on the greens, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, stop there.
Oh, I wish that was a joke. Okay, two more for you. I got a couple fun ones here. What's the best excuse you've ever heard for missing a shift?
Huh, man, the best excuse I've ever heard from missing a shift. Oh yeah, I got a good one. Some dude was supposed to work. I'm not gonna say name, and I hope he's not gonna listen to this because then we're gonna make an enemy. But he was supposed to work till 5 or 6 p.m. and he knew that. We had the whole planning that was telling you, okay, well, this guy has to work that late that day, and he booked his haircut at like 2 p.m. And he just goes like, we were watching Bancroft, dude. It was the summer. We had to water greens. He goes like, okay, guys, I'm out. I got a haircut appointment. Like, really? Yeah, you're gonna leave me alone watching all those greens? Like, and he didn't even get in trouble for that. And it kind of pissed me off, but that was such a stupid excuse. It
Yeah,
wasn't an excuse because he already had that appointment because he came back the next day with a new haircut. But come on, man, just don't schedule it for 2 p.m. That's not pro.
yeah, that's
Do it
bad.
later.
That's bad. And then tells
Um,
everybody it's a haircut. Like I'd be going with
yeah,
doctor's appointment or something
yeah,
serious.
right.
Like,
And it
no,
was a
I'm going to get a
haircut, and that
trim.
that, that really pissed me off, man.
Oh man, yeah, talk about morale. That would kill it. All right, I got a last fun one here for you. Tough call. You can only keep one. Cold beer after work or perfect greens all season.
Cold beer after work, man.
Yeah,
You will never have perfect greens all season.
that'd
It's
be
just
tough.
impossible.
And then we'd have nothing to do, right? Gotta
Um,
have some fun.
yeah, they're right. Then you just get bored.
Yeah.
Uh, and everybody will love you, but then you take out the beers. Nah, that's not happening.
Nah, you can't do that. Awesome. Good job with those, buddy. It's always fun to throw in a couple extra fun ones there every once in a while. When the weather changes, so should your plan. Flash Weather AI gives you hyperlocal, real-time forecasts powered by AI, so you're always one step ahead of the storm. Download Flash Weather AI today and never get caught off guard. You know when the turf just looks happier? That's what we've been seeing since using Apex 10 from Green Nature. It's all about healthier soil, stronger roots, and turf that bounces back a lot quicker. And right now they've got a buy two, get one free deal going at greennature.life. Worth checking out. And also follow them on Instagram at Apex10Life.
Considering my background and what I went through and what I'm still going through, I think is great if some international student are listening to maybe talk about the visa process and how to navigate that, what you do before school, during school, and after school. And I think that's super cool. And I kind of have some notes just to really talk about it real briefly. So if you, not only from Europe but just from outside the States, if you want to go study in America, there is three different visas. You can use. There's the F1, the J1, and the M1. The F1 basically is the student academic visa, so it's in-person college. So while you will attend classes and have credits and all that. The J1 is basically what a lot of places do, and like what Mike O'Keefe does with Ohio State, where it's just an exchange program where you just have classes online and and stop me if I'm mistaken, and you just work an internship basically. That's what you do. You don't go to class in person. So that's pretty cool, cheaper, I believe, good option. And then the M1 is just vocational studies, which is meaningless for us. There's also online programs if you cannot go over there. There's a lot of programs you can do. I mean, I think about the Penn State Turf program online. I'm pretty sure there's more than, if John Comiskey hears me saying a wrong number, he's going to kill me. I think there's more than 600 students each year, in that online program. So that's pretty huge. So we're going to go with the F1 visa route. If you want to go to the college, attend classes, and live the full college experience over there, you got to first apply for a visa. So you got to apply 5 to 6 months before the start date. So you go through the whole process, super easy. You go to your embassy where you are and you just go through all the paperwork, schedule some appointments. Really got to be on point with all that. Then you get your visa. Great, it's approved. You can go to the States. It can be 2 years, 4 years, depending on how long the program is. And then if you want to work during those years, because usually those programs have internships, you have to apply for a CPT, which is the same visa, but just a special form that needs to be approved for you to be able and allowed to work in the country. So CPT is basically part of the academic program. It counts for credits, so that's pretty cool. And you can also make money while in college. So for us broke turf students, it's pretty nice. And that's up to 12 months. So usually your internship will be between 3 to 6 months. So that's super easy to get. Once again, takes 1 to 2 weeks to have. So go see your international advisor at your college and talk to them about it and have them help you with that. I know Penn State people already helped me with that, and I'm super grateful for that. So that's during class, okay? After graduation, when your visa student ends, you can either go home or stay for an extra year with an OPT. OPT is like CPT, but is outside of class, no credit, and it has to be in the field of your studies. You can stay in the country only if you have a job in the field of what you studied. So in my case, got the job at Augusta, applied for my OPT, stayed there for a year. You got to know that the OPT takes 90 days to get. So you got to start 90 days before graduation. That's 3 months. So don't get caught into, timing and starting only a month before, then you have to wait 2 months, and then it just, makes everything up. So that's a good way to get more experience in the country and stay for an extra year. Once that OPT is done, you're done. You gotta go home because it's not legal anymore. So you go home. That's what I did. And then from there's many options you can look into if you want to go back to the States. And it's tough. And we're going to go over two. There's obviously the H-1B, but that one requires a bachelor degree or higher, which I didn't have. And you got to go through the lottery, and you need a US employer to sponsor you, and it's just super hard to get. I was looking at numbers a few days ago. I think it's one chance in 120 to
Wow.
get it. So I mean, you can get it. I know someone that got it this year, but it's super tough. So you can go through that. Hopefully you get lucky and get it, or you can go through the EB1 visa, which is basically an employment-based green card, and they give it to people with extraordinary abilities. That's literally the name of it.
Hmm.
And I think this is the best way to go for us. And there's a few points you gotta check in order to get this visa. You need to have national or international awards. So in my case, GCSA, SFMA, all those things. Luckily, I've been part of teams that won some stuff. You need to have published work or major contributions. So we're talking about social media, journals, articles written about you, a podcast, obviously.
Yeah, you have to add it to the resume.
Um, mhm. And also you need to have sponsors. So you need to have a golf course that sponsors you and promises you an employment. And I think this might be the most important point is to have sponsors and letters of recommendations. And this
Mm.
comes back to the beginning where from your first day in turf, you gotta work your butt off in order to make good connections, have people like you and believe you. If they do and you work hard, they're gonna give you those letters you then need to stay in the country. So every single relation counts. And it's such a small world where if you're good, everybody's gonna know it. If you're bad, everybody's gonna know it too. And so that's probably the most important is to work your butt off, get those scholarships, get those awards, those letters, and then hopefully then your um, application will be strong enough to get that visa we're trying to apply for. And then obviously go make some connections. I mean, go to Turf Bowl, go to GCSA, go to the job fairs, SFMA, make connections. Don't be scared to go talk to people. I mean, it's not going to kill you. It's just scary to go talk to some random superintendents or salesman or podcaster at GCSA. But I think it's great, and you never know where a connection can get you. And in my life, I got lucky to have the right ones at the right time. And if I didn't meet those people at this time, I don't know where I would be right now. So get out of your comfort zone, and go talk to people. And this visa, so the EB1 takes between 5 months to a year to get, or just to get an answer on.
Crazy. Seems
So,
long.
so it seems super long. And the mistake I did was I started the process 3 months before finishing at Augusta.
Mm.
And now I don't know, it's been 7 months that I've been waiting here back in France. Love my brother, love what I do with him. I'm
Yeah.
ready to get an answer,
Yeah, we
So
need to get an answer.
start this process. When you start your OPT, basically wait 3 months and start the process for the next step.
It's good advice.
And things are not gonna do themselves. You're gonna be on top of your stuff, and that's also part of growing up, and also if you can, get, as I said, a job. Before that, you need a job like promised from a golf course, and try to get this golf course to get you an attorney or a lawyer. Because without a lawyer, there is no way you can build a strong enough application on your own. I mean, they
Right.
ask for so many things that we would forget as
Hmm.
normal humans. And get yourself a lawyer. It's 10 grand. I'm so grateful that Philly Cricket paid for that for me because they truly believed in me.
Nice.
Um, but once again, that's the most important. Get yourself a lawyer and have them help you. And she said 70% chance I'll get it. That's pretty decent.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's it, man. I mean, I don't know what to add. Just be curious in everything you do. Try to learn more every day, and don't get caught with time by being lazy. I'm not pretty good at this. Trying to work on that. I know my
Yeah.
girlfriend helps me work on that for sure, but
Nice.
yeah, and
There's
always
some brownie
always be
points.
curious, man, and ask questions whenever you can.
Hmm. So I got to say, I have a bit of a vision of the person who is trying to approve your OPT application. Like just reading that,
Hmm.
I'd be like, this kid from France once says he's going to work at Augusta. Is this a joke? Like,
I was telling my girlfriend like I really really hope the guy reviewing my visa application plays golf,
plays
man.
golf. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all you needed.
Yeah, if they do, that's game over. That's easy.
Yeah. So, Simon, this has been fantastic, man. Like, you speak better English than some of the people I've met. So, I got to hand
Oh,
it to you. You're
that's
doing a
that's
great
super
job.
nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh,
Well, thank
w-
you for having me, man. And before I go, I wanted to say once again, it's so fun that I'm here today because I remember, I don't know, it was maybe some of your first 1,000 followers on Instagram when you guys first started. It was maybe 2020 or 2021. And I kept sending you photos of me working and like greens and cool shots. I was like, yeah, go post this, go post that. And it's so fun to see you guys have what, 150,000 followers on Instagram now, and everything is growing. So huge congrats to you guys on what you do. And the game of golf is growing, and the industry is also growing, and that's also part of thanks to you guys. And honestly, kudos to you because what you do is awesome for what we do, and yeah, it's awesome to see.
no, I really appreciate that. You were definitely a big part of, starting Turf Today because it was new for that space and it was kind of cool to get it going and get a lot more people involved. And now we look at it
Hmm.
and the thing almost runs itself. The amount of content that gets pushed to
Hmm.
us, it's almost just running itself at this point. So appreciate you joining us today. Appreciate everything you do for the turf industry. I definitely highly recommend people reach out to Simon and get in touch with him because he's got a lot of great advice and he's been through a lot. And you're somebody, if you become a superintendent in the next 5 years or something like that, I assume you're going to be working in this industry for a while. So, as people move on and get out of the industry, there's people like yourself that are coming up and taking over, and you'll probably be a name we'll be reading and hearing of, for years to come. So, thanks a lot for this,
Well,
Simon.
that's what we hope. Thanks for having me, guys, and thank you for listening.
We are back with PhD agronomist Tony Goldsby from the Andersons for another Ask the Agronomist segment. Today's question comes in from Patrick Chanda. Is it advisable to include wetting agents when applying systemic chemicals?
Well, thank you again, Adam, for having me on for another week's segment. And thank you to Patrick for submitting the great question to us. Really, the short answer of it is yes. And often, depending on what insecticide that you're applying, it can be kind of a smart move on your part to incorporate the two together. So, to break it down just a little bit more, when we're talking about wetting agents that would be good pairing with insecticide applications, specifically looking at those penetrant type surfactants would be ideal. They're going to help you to kind of drive that active ingredient down through thatch, down through hydrophobic areas, and really get down to the roots, which is important because when you're thinking about a systemic herbicide, it has to enter into the plant through the root system and then be translocated up into the plant to be able to kind of protect it and do what it needs to do from an insecticidal perspective. So when you're, pairing a penetrant type surfactant with AIs like imidacloprid or merit, or also even like acephate, that may be a very good thing to do on your part just to ensure you're getting it down there where you want to be. And again, that's also just going to help with that, uniform uptake and make sure that you get your plant protected across the whole area. As always, though, I would say when you're mixing anything together, right, be cautious, and don't mix any wetting agents with certainly foliar applied insecticides. That's a different, or contact type insecticides, a different little realm. So, read the label, make sure that, what you're working with, it says that's okay to be able to apply other products with it. And certainly, always, if you have the ability to, I would always recommend doing a jar test prior to putting anything together that you haven't ever mixed before. Last thing you want to do is get a big tank of, some sort of goo that you can't get sprayed out. So, long and short, again, summary, you absolutely can do it. Make sure you got the right AIs, and you're using them in the right applications and certainly can have some success pairing those two together.
Great advice as always. Thank you so much, Tony. This wraps up another Ask the Agronomist segment featuring Dr. Tony Goldsby from the Andersons. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much to Simon for joining us. Man, what a beauty. That guy could go for a lot longer, and we are definitely going to have to bring him and his brother back because they are going to be big pieces of this industry one day. Shout out to our sponsors for everything they do for us. Shout out to all of you, the listeners. You guys are killing it right now by pushing the show around, writing reviews and ratings, and talking us up. Keep those reels sharp. We got a fun one coming next week. You guys will not believe what's happening.
Fall apart when the red light flashes. When you say my name, I get butterflies. Gonna leave right now, leaving ashes. But I know that you come every day and all night. Never broke when I got you with me. But I know it'll never be enough. Never spoke to another like you see. Doesn't got what you worry about. Ooh, somehow we both learned it all. Feeling who we really are. One day we'll learn what it's for. It's time to celebrate. Something about you is right. Something about you is mine. Look at time flying by. Call you my cherry pie. Something about you is right. Something about you is mine. Look at time flying by. Call you my cherry pie. Never thought you would take a bullet for me. Never know what you know, never worry about that. Had a lot, now I got more cussing. Wanna rock, give a lot, never worry about that. Ooh, somehow we both learned it all. Feeling who we really are. One day we'll learn what it's for. It's time to celebrate. Something about you is right. Something about you is mine. Look at time flying by. Call you my cherry pie. Something about you is right. Something about you is mine.